Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Taylor and thank you so much for watching. Today I'm going to be showing you my Flash Photography foundation routine, including cream highlighting and contour. Please excuse the intro and outro. I totally forgot to film this, so it was done after a night out and hours of wear, but I'd say it held up pretty well. So if you're interested in seeing how I achieve this look, just keep on watching. We're going to jump right into it. Okay, so I'm going to start with my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer, and this is a very silicone-y primer, so it's great for filling in pores and also making the makeup last all day. And you really don't need a lot. A little bit goes a long way. So I'm going to be using my all-time favorite foundation, which is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. I'm in the shade Y225. Now, I love this foundation because it's not necessarily a super full coverage. I mean, you can build it, but it's really a medium coverage. And when I use the Beauty Blender, it really shares it out. But I love that. It looks very natural. It hides anything you need to hide, any redness, blemishes, but it's still, your skin still peeks through. Like, I can still see my freckles once I apply it. You'll see what I mean. But it just is very natural. And because it is HD, it photographs beautifully. So this is my favorite. It's not something I use every day because it is expensive. So I use this when I know I'm going out and I'm going to be taking a lot of photographs. But what I like to do is I put a pump on the back of my hand and I just dab it all over my face. And then I'll go in with my Beauty Blender and blend it out. Okay, then with my damp Beauty Blender, so if you wanted more full coverage, especially with this foundation, I would suggest using a kabuki brush. But I just love the way the Beauty Blender presses it into the skin and it really gives it that natural finish. On other days when I'm going for more full coverage, I wouldn't necessarily use the Beauty Blender or this foundation in particular. So I do want a little bit more coverage, but if you can see, I'm going to come in a little closer. You can see my freckles, but it's just got a really nice finish. It covered any of my redness and discoloration, and I think it looks beautiful. So I'm doing like a half a pump more, and I'm just going to go over. And again, my concealer will kind of cover that up a little bit more, but I don't mind that. I do love full coverage, but I don't mind when my freckles peek through. I like them. I mean, people are putting on faux freckles. It's a trend, but I mean, if you have natural ones, why not show them a little bit? So. All right, so I hope this is picking up on camera and it's not super washed out, but it's just a beautiful, natural, super skin-like finish. I mean, unless you're up really close, you wouldn't even know I was wearing foundation. It just makes my skin look better, but still like skin. Next, I'm going to be highlighting, and I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, the Holy Grail. So we're going to be highlighting under our eyes in a triangular shape, because this is the way the light naturally hits your face. So we're doing this anywhere the high points of your face where the light would hit. So on my nose, right here on my Cupid's bow, I go a little bit right there just for coverage because I get red. The chin and the forehead. Now I go really high with my highlight because I have a very small forehead, so highlighting it's going to make it look a little bit bigger. If you had a really large forehead, I would suggest bringing your contour down more, and that's going to make the forehead look smaller. For some people like to apply their contour and blend it all out at once, but I like to blend out my highlight and then I go in with my contour and I blend that out. So No dark circles. It looks super highlighted and a little scary right now, but once you add the depth back in and we bronze the face, it's gonna look nice. So, going to be contouring with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Kit in the shade Fair. For contouring most of my face, I go in with the two deeper shades, which are Shadow and Mink. And these are a little bit harder to work with, so I do use the Tarte Maracuja oil to mix it together. So, I added some of that oil in to make it a little more blendable, and now I'm dabbing into both those shades. Now for contouring, again, this is to make the shadow come back into the face and any parts that we want to recede and give more depth to. So we're going to do the cheekbones. Pretty much, you go from like the top of the ear down right underneath your cheekbone, and I stop about right where the eye ends, because if you go too far in, you make this area right here muddy, and you don't want to do that. So you can make that face, and you see the shadow that's formed. So kind of go from up here, down. And you don't need a lot because this blends out really well. Now we're going to do the perimeter of the face. Now again, because I have a small forehead, I really like to stay really close to the hairline. And if you had a bigger forehead, you'd go further down, and that will give you, the illusion that your forehead's smaller. But for me, I don't want to do that. So I'm also going to do the jawline. You can see where the natural shadow is, because even the lights I have on me, they're showing you like here is light and then it gets dark. So we're just going to accentuate that and get rid of this double chin. You can even do that. A couple lines to get rid of that chin. Then I do a little bit right here, because as you can see, again, this is darkened from the shadow. Like your lower lip, if it's bigger like this, it gives a shadow. So what I'm trying to say is when you do that, it gives you the illusion of a bigger lip. Now I'm going to dip into this lighter shade of the Contouring Fawn, and I'm going to use that for my nose. I'll use that in the medium one, because I don't like to go too deep on my nose. It is the center of your face, so it's highlighted, but it does have shadows on the side. So as you can see with my lights on, that the center of my nose is very bright, and the side right here is where the shadow hits. So we're gonna mimic that with the makeup. Now people forget that your nose is connected to your eyebrow, so don't just, you could do what you want, but I recommend not just doing this one line right here that lots of people like to do. I bring it all the way up, and it just gives it a little bit more natural of a look. So I start all the way up there, I go right down where that shadow would hit and curve around the tip. You could do the tip, and then if you want that little button nose, I would just mimic a little line right there, and that's gonna make this pop and look like you have a little button tip nose. So if you wanted your nose to appear smaller, you're gonna make these shadow lines closer together, and that's gonna snatch the nose, bring it in, and make it look pinched. If you have a small nose and you want to make it look wider, you'd push them down, more towards your face, and that's going to widen the nose. So, you'd have more highlight in the center. I hope you guys are getting what I'm saying. Anyway, so that's it for the contouring. Now we have to blend it out. Now, I will go in with my Beauty Blender afterwards when I mostly blend it out in order to really get it into the foundation. But what I go in with first is this contouring brush by e.l.f. Any flat, it's very stiff bristle brush to allow you to blend that contour and keep it in the place that you want to keep it in. So for the cheeks, we do not want to muddy this area up. If we do, we can clean it up a little bit with baking, but the idea is to go upwards. We want to chisel out this cheekbone upwards, and that's going to blend into your bronzer, into your blush, and you don't want to muddy this area. This is going to be more highlighted. So using this brush, I kind of stamp and then push up. Of these Anastasia cream contours, Normally cream is a little bit harder to work with, especially if you're a beginner at contouring. I would suggest just starting with powders. I will go over in a powder in the end, but again, it's the same idea. You use the same placement, it's just a powder. The reason why people think cream is harder, it's more, it's a little more difficult, is because you just really have to take the time to blend. So this might take a little bit longer. It's maybe not for everyday use, but it comes out really beautifully. So even when I'm doing this edge, I make sure that I'm blending it into my hairline really well, because that's where we're pushing the shadow back into. To the skin. Now for the neck, we're doing the opposite. So again, this part is going to stay lighter, and we're going to push this down. Work. Now I'm going back in with whatever's left on my Beauty Blender to really just blend out those areas. And then I do still have my nose contour to blend. So for that, I am going to go in with my Beauty Blender. So, one, because it diffuses it a little more, and I don't like a super harsh nose contour. I mean, it might look nice for pictures on Instagram, but in real life, I don't want anyone to see these lines. So I want them super blended out and diffused, and I think the Beauty Blender just does the best job doing that. Now to set the face, I'm going to go in with my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, and I love this. On a day that you're going to be taking photos, this is the powder you want to go with. It does not have any flashback, and it just sets beautifully. It really minimizes my pores in the center of my face, and it makes your makeup stay on all day. So I like to go under the eye, and we're going to accentuate that highlight again. Anything you muddied up here from blending this too far down, you just sharpen up just a little bit. Now, this is baking. You can leave it on for as long as you'd like, but remember that the longer you leave it on your face, the more dry your face is going to get. So if you have really dry skin like I do right now, you may want to just brush this off right away, which is what I'm going to do. And there's this misconception that you have to bake for 15 to 20 minutes. We're not really baking cookies right now, so that's not necessary. I'm gonna brush it off right away. It has done its job, and you'll see what I mean, but it just cleans up that contour. Look at that. I hope it's picking up on camera. So yeah, I left it on my face for literally 30 seconds and it still did its job. For me, if I leave it too long, like some people do, 15 minutes while they do their eye makeup or whatever, you know, I will look like a wrinkled old lady. So, and I'm just taking a big fluffy brush and dusting that off. Okay, so now that we've set the areas where we put our concealer and highlighted, we will also set the area where we put our cream contour. So I'm gonna go in with my bronzer, and I'm using the Benefit Hoola bronzer. I'm going with an angled contouring brush, and it's very pigmented, so I make sure to tap it out. And we're just gonna go over that same area, all the areas that we put the contour. This is just gonna set it and accentuate it. Afterwards, because I've placed it down, I'll just go back in with that bigger brush and really blend it out. Blush. So I'm going to be using the Becca Cosmetics Jaclyn Hill Face Palette. I'm going to go in with the highlighter first. I'm using, what am I using? This is a little ratchet, But I'm using this fluffy brush, and the ferrule, it came off, so it's broken. But I'm going to use it anyways, so I didn't throw it out. I should, and I will, but whatever. I'm using both Champagne Pop and Prosecco Pop. Don't judge me. And I'm going on the top of my cheeks. I just like the way this places the highlighter. I'm going around the eye. And then I'm going to go on the Cupid's bow. A little bit on the chin. And the nose. So again, we're kind of mimicking where those highlighted areas were. I hope it's picking up. Then, we're just going to use our blush brush. I'm going to be going into Amaretto and Rosé Spritz. Just a little dab of both. Smile. The apples on my cheeks. I start off here. Very lightly, very light hand. And I blend it up towards my temples. Again, I'm molding where this contour and my bronzer is to where my highlighter is. Okay, so lastly, to set my makeup, I'm going to go in with the Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray. This stuff works wonders. It really does make my makeup last all day, and it makes all that powder melt into your face and look a little more natural. Immediately, I will start fanning to make it dry. Okay, to finish everything off, I'm going to use Jeffree Star's Liquid Lipstick in Androgyny. Okay, so here is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!